Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is How to Get Away with Murder, Season 3, Episode 1. And the title of this episode is We're Good People Now. Now, a lot happened in this episode, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to at first address, everything with the Keating Five, but then I'm also going to talk about the case that they had to work on, and then we're going to go from there. So the episode opens up from where it left off in Season 1, where Wes actually confronts William Mahoney, and while he's talking to him, he pretty much says, "I think I'm your son," and William Mahoney's like, "Well, what would make you think that?" And he said, "Well, Annalise Keating," and as soon as he says Annalise Keating, William Mahoney gets shot right in front of him. So Wes literally not only witnessed the death of his mom, but literally witnessed the death of his father that he just met in that one moment. So it rewinds back, and we actually find out that Frank drove him there, and that Frank pretty much was the one who told him that, Annalise, said that you should actually go and talk to him and confront him, and he is your father, so you might as well. And then he's like, "If you want, I can call Annalise." And Wes was like, "No, it's okay, I'll go out there." So as soon as he approaches him and they talk, and as soon as he's about to mention Annalise's name, he gets killed, and Frank literally leaves him there. So we now know Frank was the one who shot William Mahoney. And we also see that, Wes is talking to the police, and he lies and says that he didn't know the guy, and that the guy was just, he was on the phone, and he kind of went off on me, and and then the next thing you know, the guy got shot. So he pretty much just said that he was just an innocent bystander. He just so happened to be there. And he gets in a car with Annalise. Annalise pretty much lets him know, "Frank killed your father because of me." Because Frank, we actually know from the season finale, that Frank made a deal with William Mahoney to take down Annalise. Because we actually saw that, Frank was bribed, and he took the bribe and decided to go against Annalise, which he set up that car accident, which made Annalise lose her baby, and now Annalise can no longer have children. So she said that he feels bad what he did to me, that he took him down. But then again, he has ammunition on me, he has ammunition on you, he has ammunition on all of us. So Frank had to be taken down. So that goes on, I think, in April, I believe. Because each month around the summer, she meets with all of the Keating Five. So that happened in I believe in April, I believe. In May, she meets with Laurel. Her and Laurel go back and forth. They have this conversation, and pretty much Laurel just gets very defensive, and it's like, "Look, I have been there for you. Anything you asked me to do, I've done. I have been loyal, and I feel like you're taking your anger out of Frank out on me, and it's not fair. I don't deserve that." And she said, "First of all, I'm not taking Frank out on you. But one thing I want to know is, who do you choose, me or him? Because Frank can no longer be a part of this." And she says, "I choose you, obviously. He's dead to me." And then we later see that she tries to reach Frank. It just goes straight to voicemail. She goes off and is like, "First of all, I know that your message is not full, so I know I'm calling you, and I hate you," and hung up the phone. So in June, she meets with Connor. Connor is pretty much in his feelings, and he's sitting on the roof deck, he's getting a tan, and he has his feet inside of this pool, and Annalise goes and joins him, and he's pretty much upset because he got rejected from Stanford, and he pretty much asked Annalise, if I graduate, will you give me a job? And she said, you'll always have a job with me. Don't even worry about that. I got you. And then later, we see her meeting with Oliver, Connor's boyfriend. And Connor is interviewing for a job. Well, at first she denies it to him because she knows Connor doesn't want him working with her. But then Oliver opens up and says that I'm the reason why Connor didn't get into Stanford. I pretty much rigged everything. And, you know, and then on top of it, he admits that he pretty much has known all of her information the entire time. So that completely changes everything for Annalise. Like, okay, this is somebody I can use on the team. But much to the chagrin of Connor, you know, he doesn't want Oliver working with her. Next, I believe it's July, we actually find out what's going on with Asher. Asher's over the house. You know, Nate is over there cooking on the grill. And I'm like, oh, this is so cute. But her and Asher are talking. Asher's saying that, you know, my mom has completely cut me off. My father's dead. I don't have any money. So he pretty much came there to Annalise thinking he was going to get a handout. Annalise was like, get a job, motherfucker. And he's like, well, the reason why I'm in this situation is because of you. I chose you over my dad, and because of that, my father's dead. And she's like, you really want to go there? First of all, your father's dead because your father chose to die. Second, welcome to the real world. If you want money, get a job like everybody else. So it's like now, Asher has now been introduced to the real world. Next we actually see him and Michaela. They about to have sex in his dorm, but then these two girls interrupt him, and you know, Michaela eventually is like, okay, I'm done, I'm turned off. And he's like, what's going on? He's like, I really don't want to have sex with you in your dorm room. And he's like, so what you trying to say? Is like, now that I've been demoted, now that I don't have no money, and you know, I'm not good enough now? And then Michaela was like, welcome to America. I'm like, bitch, really? That part had me tripping out. So I'm like, girl, you a mess. It's like every time you turn around, Michaela is in another messy situation with a man. It's like she can't really get it together when it comes down to relationships. I mean, because after all, let's be real. The first guy was gay. The second guy lied about who he was. He was actually Rebecca's brother. The third man was actually the killer that she willfully fell in love with and completely was blind to the fact that he was the one that murdered everyone. And now the guy committed suicide, which we saw in the season finale of season 2. So it's like old girl can't win. So the next month, August, she runs into Michaela. This bitch got a whole ass dress on and has been pulled over for a DUI. Annalise approaches her. She immediately starts going off on Annalise like, this is all your fault. I'm screwed up because of you. I used to be normal. And Annalise was like, sweetheart, you were never normal. You're just now realizing that you're not normal. And due to the fact of where you come from and the things you've had to deal with, I knew that you could handle it. That's why I never worried about you and why I never babied you. And then she was like, oh my God, you're such a bitch. And Annalise was letting her know, first of all, you up here driving and all of this shit, under the influence, you're going to ruin your life and you're going to ruin your career. And if anything, bitch, if you really wanted to drink, I have a fucking liquor cabinet full of liquor. And, you can come over and we can get drunk together and I won't let you drive home drunk. So, and besides, the way you're looking right now, you look like a cheap hooker. Let's go. So we see that the Keating Five are all struggling throughout this whole summer. But let's jump into, now school's back in session. We can definitely tell that Wes has now got a new girlfriend. Her name is Maggie. And him and like there's a lot of tension between him and Laurel because you can definitely tell that there's some chemistry there between them. And but Wes is literally giving Laurel the backhand. He's not responding to her texts. He's not calling her. It's like he's kind of just left Laurel in the dark. And later on, we find out why. They go in class. You see everybody, coming together. We actually meet one of the new students named Drake, who's a complete stuck-up asshole. He immediately goes in and tells them that, oh, you guys wouldn't even be even considered if, Annalise didn't favor you guys. Like, I'm so better than all of you. He just kind of gave that smart-ass, attitude. And Asher kind of was like, man, go fuck yourself. Anyway, well, Annalise comes in. She does her presentation, and we actually now see that things have changed as far as this class. Now, the top two, get to actually try an actual case as an attorney for pro bono clients. Excuse me. And for those who don't know what pro bono is, that's where, the lawyer actually takes on the case, and they only get paid if they only get paid only if the client wins, but there's no money up front, and it's pretty much more like a public defender. And we actually witness while she's up there, talking to her class, she looks over because she noticed that the class kind of shifted their attention. And she notices that there's a picture of her with a red circle around her and the words killer written under her. And she immediately just takes it down and throws it away, and she's like, pretty much just paid it dust. But then later on, when she goes around campus, she sees that it's being displayed everywhere. That, people, like, pretty much her reputation is now, being tarnished on the campus that she works on. But as true fashion, Annalise is a boss, and she's just going to keep it moving. The case that they're going to be trying is for this guy named Kareem. Kareem is an immigrant who is being charged with possession of marijuana and the intention to distribute. And they're talking about deporting him. So pretty much whoever makes the best argument, gets to actually work the case in court. So everybody's coming up with all of their different analysis and, coming up with all of their arguments. And we actually see before this happens, Laurel actually meets with Kareem. And she asks him what happened. And he says that I'm not going to say anything unless you turn off the camera, or unless you turn off the recorder. So Laurel, being the shrewd woman that she is, because Laurel, I have to say, yeah, past season she was starting to really piss me off, but at the end of the day, Laurel is a very smart attorney, and she's a person that can really think on her feet, and she knows how to get to the bottom of shit. She's kind of like that type of person that she's not going to rest until she knows what happened. So she turns off the camera. She turns off the recorder. I don't know why I keep saying camera. Forgive me. She turns off, the recorder, and while the class is talking about the case and coming up with all of these arguments, she immediately rushes in and says that he is innocent. His daughter was the one who's the one that's distributing and the one that had the possession. It was his daughter. But he's taking the rap for his daughter because he doesn't want his daughter to get in trouble. But then they make the argument that, well, his daughter is an American citizen, so why not just let her try? He's like, no. He's an immigrant, and she's a child of an immigrant. They can deport her ass also, even though she was born in the United States. That doesn't matter. So we're not going to use that in this case. So come up with a better strategy. So after all the arguments and after everything is presented, and she chooses Wes and Drake, the smart ass. She chooses the two of them to represent this case pro bono in court to defend Kareem. And we also see that before West goes into court to begin, his proceedings as a pro bono attorney, Annalise pulls him aside and lets him know, like, look, this is pretty much a case that you're not going to win, but it's a learning experience, so make the best of it. So they go in and make that. So him and Drake are there, making that argument for Kareem. What West has done is that he's got over 15 witnesses of people that know Kareem that can give a character analysis of who he is, hoping that this will actually soften the judge. And while these proceedings are going on, Michaela comes in and pretty much, while the case is going on, Michaela runs in and is like, I think we can win this. So she finds out information that while being questioned, they're pretty much saying that Kareem was somewhat bullied into accepting, the plea because they threatened him with being deported. And the person who was questioning him didn't remember whether he said that or not. So since that was up for accusation, it pretty much kind of sets it where he can just walk home, So because Michaela brings this information, she kicks Drake's ass off the case, puts Michaela in, and it's now Wes and Michaela are now the pro bono attorneys for Kareem. Well, everything goes really well, and it looks as if Kareem is about to walk, but then it comes to the judge's attention that Kareem actually lied under oath about the case. And because he did that, everything that was presented was completely thrown out, and she orders that he be deported back to his country of origin. So that's what happened there. But then she lets Wes know that, look, you're not going to win every case. But what you do is that you take the anger from the case that you lost and you put it in your next case and you keep on going. That's what makes a good attorney. So Annalise is, Annalise is, as we can plainly see, Annalise is on a job and she's handling business. Also, we also know that Frank has gone into hiding. Frank has shaved his head, shaved his beard. He looks like a totally different person. So Frank has gone into hiding, and we also see that Annalise is talking on this secret phone that she keeps in this black box. I mean, hey, black box hides a lot of hidden secrets. But I ain't trying to go there, but hey, it is what it is. So she keeps this little black phone in this black box, and she's talking to somebody, but we don't know who. And later on, we find out that she's got someone tailing Frank to let us know his whereabouts, because she knows Frank has shit on every single one of them. So now Frank is a threat, because Frank can pretty much do anything, and can ruin everything for everyone. So she's on the phone. So finally, towards the end of the episode, she finally is on the phone talking to this person. This guy finds out where Frank is, and he asks Annalise, "What do you want me to do?" Annalise is stuck, doesn't say anything, because she's kind of like just stuck in the moment. Next thing you know, Frank comes behind the guy and wrestles him down, and she hangs up the phone. Nate comes in and is like, is everything okay? And she's like, oh yeah, everything's fine. Completely plays it off like nothing happened. But she now knows that Frank has found her leak. And from that it can go either way. Also, Annalise meets with the president. And the president is played by Miss Lauren Velez, and I'm a big fan of hers. I loved her on New York Undercover, and I love the movie I Like It Like That. It's one of my all-time favorites, you know. And she's pretty much the president, and she summoned Annalise to a meeting, and she lets her know that she wants to pretty much have her do like this research class, and that someone else take over the class that she's working, that she's been working over the past years. That the actual class that she has, they want her to do like a work with this research program and let someone else take over her class. Annalise immediately goes in defense like, what the hell is this? You know, so you're making a judgment off of my personal life. You're going to demote me based off something personal. But Miss President, she's like, oh, no, sweetheart, that's not what it is. See, previously, your top 5, the students you select, will usually graduate at the top of their class and will have high GPAs. But currently, your chosen 5 have diminished in their GPAs. And we see that all of them are suffering academically. I mean, think of all the stuff that they've been dealing with and what they've been through. It's having an effect on them psychologically and intellectually. So their grades are slipping. So we're going to see what she's going to do in regards to that. Also, we also come to the fact as to why Wes has been blowing off Laurel. The reason is that every time he sees Laurel, he sees Frank. Frank murdered his father. So it's like every time he sees Laurel, he sees Frank, because Laurel and Frank were an item for a good minute. But now Frank has gone into hiding. So he says, that's the reason why I've been pushing you away. Because, you know, I just can't deal with you because of what Frank has done to my father and what Frank has done to me. And she said, well, Frank hurt me too. You know, and you can definitely tell there is some chemistry between Laurel and Wes. And as soon as we notice that, his new girlfriend Maggie comes in. Maggie is such a sweetheart, but is completely naive. And she's like, oh yeah, he talks about you all the time, girl. Oh yeah, the infamous Laurel. And I'm like, really, Wes? Like, you really trying to get some shit started, huh, bro? Really? But then also, the episode ends with Annalise's house is in flames and somebody is dead. Either somebody of the Keating 5 or it could possibly be Bonnie or Nate. So, somebody that she's close to is now dead, which I think is going to be the overall arc of the show, to find out who is actually dead. But then every episode we're going to figure out who isn't dead. But then we'll probably find out at the season finale who actually died and what led to Annalise's house being set on fire. So that's my review for How to Get Away with Murder. Please subscribe. You know, just click that icon and subscribe to my channel. Leave your comments. You know, like this video. I definitely look forward to your feedback. And I will be back next week with another review of How to Get Away with Murder. And I'm definitely so happy that this show is back, because this is like my favorite show on television. And I'm a big fan of the Emmy Award-winning Viola Davis, and I'm glad that she's back doing her thing and that she's leading the charge. So I'm about to sign off now. So I definitely look forward to you guys. Take care.